Ohai. Margilan. The city in the Fergana region of Uzbekistan. Etymology. At the heart of the name Persian Mar, a meadow, a lawn, a glade, a green grass, the green lowland, and a Drevnoransky suffix of bosoms. Area. At merge of these two words Margilan, the green area turns out. History. There is a legend of emergence of the name of the city connected with Alexander of Macedon's invasion. Locals, having learned about Alexander's intention to visit their city, prepared for him a red carpet. One of elders of the city suggested to welcome the guest with chicken and bread. After a feast, Alexander of Macedon asked how the dish is called. He was answered, Margilan, that is meant by chicken and bread. On the way back he tried this dish again, and then called this place of Margilan. Since then the city carries the name Margilan. Margilan is one of the ancient cities of the Fergana Valley.
In 1994, in the city, the staff of Institute of Archaeology of Uzbekistan who revealed existence of the irrigated agriculture in the Margilan oasis since not later 3 centuries BB worked.
The settlement arose in the 2 centuries BB when one of roads of the Great Silk Way lay through Fergana. In sources the settlement is known since the 9th century. The name Margilan is known since the 10th century. It is authentically known that Alexander of Macedon in Fergana wasn't, and the city of Hodhent was extreme point of his expansion in the territory of Central Asia. Nearer on his place he built the fortified city of Alexandria Ascata.
Alexander of Macedon's cult in the Fergana Valley most likely resulted from migrations of mountain inhabitants who considered themselves descendants and were residents of the quarter Pasha Iskandar in Margilan.
This quarter, where allegedly there was Alexander of Macedon's grave, was dated the 18th century. The grave is photographed in 1935. It follows from this that, most likely, in a Mazara there was Iskandar's grave, however not Alexander of Macedon, but Pasha Iskandar it is from Darwaz. Pamir. Ancestor Shah of Darwaz of Abalfaq who in the 17th century owned Fergana in the north, and in the south, Kulab and Kabul. The name of this conqueror was replaced eventually with more popular name of Alexander of Macedon, with which in Central Asia many legends are connected, and began to be called in honor of Pasha Iskandar Zulkarnain. In local pronunciation, Zulkanar. The Tsar Alexander Dvoreky. In the Middle Ages, the Central Asian, Uzbek and Soviet traveler, the writer, the translator, polyglot, the historian and the jadedist Kanibrit. In the historical book History of Fergana, Tarija Fargona, carries 1916 Margilan to the ancient cities of Fergana. The author connects time of the basis and the name of the city with immigrants from Persia and dates 833, it est. The 9th century. According to archaeological researches, in Margilan since the 9th century workmanship widely extended.
Other version about origin of the name of the city of Margilan, formed on the place of several settlements by the inhabitants of the Juliansky Valley who arrived here who in the homeland were engaged in silkworm breeding, probably is more plausible.
In the period of government of the cousin and the son-in-law Prorok Muhammad, the world to it in blessing. The fourth Pravedi Caliph Ali ibn Abu of the Talib, 656-661. Some Qurayshida from the family of the first just Caliph. The associate and the father-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad Abu Bakr as-Siddiq,
led by the nobility of the city of Medina, began to move on the northeast to coast of the Caspian Sea, where in the territory of the Juliansky Valley they created the powerful state of Saidav with the capital in the city of Rasht.
In the next centuries the settlement was called differently on sounding and writing, Margilan, Marginan, Margilan, but the sense came down to one, Juliana. History knows that from 12th to the 17th centuries Margilan/Margilan was the large Persian city of stay of Turkic-speaking tribes of Ming, Skids and others.
Gradual assimilation with the autochthonic population led to a Turkicization of the population of the city, which till today is considered the largest center of production of silk fabrics in Central Asia. The fact that residents of Margilan were carriers of the Persian dialect is also confirmed by the founder Imperi of Great Mughals Babur.
According to him, in the 15th century the population of the Fergana Valley consisted of Turkic peoples and grades. Margilan's inhabitants, Biplo, Ristana, Isfara and Kanibata Babur carried 2 grades, and Andijan and its vicinities 2 Turkic peoples. He writes in the book Babur Name. One more city, Margilan, to the west from Andijan, in 7 Yigachave way. It is the good city full of any grace. Pomegranates and dried apricots are plentiful and good there. There is one grade of pomegranate which is called. In its sweet the soft pleasant sour taste of an apricot is felt. These grenades can give preference before Semnansky grenades. There is there still a grade of dried apricots from which take out stones, and instead of them put in a fruit kernels and dry. Call his subkin, it is very tasty. Again they're good, white key it come across close. Margilan's inhabitants, Sarta. These are the pugnacious and uneasy people. The custom to fight on fists is widespread in Transoxiana. Most of the famous fist fighters in Samarkand and in Bukhara Marginanites. The author Hidai, the native of the settlement of Marginansky area called Rishtan. At Samanidak. The 9th-10th century. Margilan was the town. Through him there passed only one tradeway which went across the southern Fergana. He is mentioned in written sources as Marginan. After fading under the influence of the local reasons of such large cities as Kuva and Rishtan, in the 11th century the situation changes.
Prosperity of Margilan was promoted by the fact that it was at the intersection of the Great Silk Way, which is going east from the west.
After Hotent it branched on 2 roads, northern and southern. The southern way after Kanabadam went to the mining area Kadamzi and, at last, to Margilan tried and further, through Haydarkan and Oaken. The northern way after the city of Axikenta, was divided into 2 again. One went through Meen,
Irrigateki, Naran and Karadariyur.
To Ujgand, the second to Margilan. During this period the city grows territorially at the expense of Rabat. Intensively all types of crafts develop. and as a result Margilan/Margilan in the 11th, 12th centuries became one of the capital cities of Fergana and had the mint where coins on behalf of the deputy of the Karakanidske state were minted. The Russian Orientalist, the academician 5. V. Bartold specified in the researches. There were cases of destruction of the city during military operations. Besides, under the influence of the local reasons the city could address to the village, and the village to the city. In Fergana Margilan in the 10th century was the town, and in the 12th century was ranked as the known cities, whereas Rishton, being in the 10th century the city more considerable than Margilan, became the village in the neighborhood of Margilan. The Islamic theologian, the representative of Sufism, the sheikh of the doctrine of Naqshbandi Makdumi Ajam considered the Bogosbrani Saint Burhanuddin al-Marginani the spiritual mentor. Ajam several times visited his homeland, the quarter of Dakbid in Rishtana. More than 300 years later Makdumi Ajam in honor of the spiritual mentor Burhanuddin al-Marginani chose for the constant place of stay Dakbid in Samarkand, thereby having continued popularity of the settlement, and in the subsequent founded school of Sufism of Dakbidaya. From 1710 to 1876 Margilan was a part of the Kokand Khanate and was the center of a Bexpo. In 1875 after gaining the Kokand Khanate the city was a part of the Russian Empire. At the time of the Russian Empire Margilan or Old Margilan, for difference from New Margilan, were official names of the city. In 2007 card year anniversary of the city was solemnly celebrated. Geography. Margilan is located in the southeast of the Fergana Valley, in the foothills of the Alay, in 9 km to the northwest from the regional center, the cities of Fergana. There is a railway station on the Indijan-Kokand line. Margilan is one of 3 large cities of the Fergana region along with Fergana and Kokand. In the city there live representatives more than 30 nationalities. As of January 1, 2014, the population is 215,400 inhabitants.
Margilan, according to a general population census of the Russian Empire which is carried out on January 28.
On February
1897 my direct poll of all population for the same date according to the provision on the first general population census of the Russian Empire, which is most highly approved in 1895 was one of the large cities of Central Asia.
Economy. Margilan from antiquity is the center of production of silk fabrics. Souvenir factories, Yajgorlik and Fazalodin, Atlas work in the city. There are many master handicraftsmen working at home. The city economy is concentrated, generally on a large wholesale ware market and the grocery market. The private sector is very developed. Residents are generally busy with purchase and sale and craft, many work in public institutions. In days of the Soviet power in the city constructed silk plant, art garment factory, the mechanical repair, tractorormany, woodworking, iron and dairy plants.
In Margilan cotton mills, Orshik textiles.
The joint venture with Turkey. Oseotex Atlas, the tractorormany and bakery plants, woodworking shops, etc. Work. Many citizens have the status of the legal entity and are engaged in small and medium business. In Margilan branches of banks Oak, Hamperbank, Kishlak Urisha Bank, Agra Bank, Milli Bank, Halk Banki are located. All so far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.